Hi everybody. I just wanted to jump in here and give you a little bit of a foundation for completing your final assessment or your final presentation. This is a little bit different than you have done for me in the past in that we're just really wanting to know the information that you have gathered from this course. So in looking at the information in the final presentation assignment, at the end of the during week 11. If you just read along with me, we're just wanting to know what your action plan is. So in taking a look at all of the information that you have gathered, you're going to put together an assessment and an action plan. So thinking about all the assignments that you've done, you're going to put together a short essay format. So you want to do a beginning, a middle, and an end, like all good essays have. And then I want you just to imagine, because you may not have a family to work with, how you would assess and build a program for a particular child who is a dual language learner. So what kind of, for instance, you're going to be working with a young child with, let's say, 3 to 8 years old or whatever the age group is. You would want to just kind of set that up a little bit first and say, this is what I'm thinking about for a family with a child of this particular age. And then talk about what kind of goals would you have for this child and family based on the information that you have gathered from the course. And then describe the plan that you would implement or you have implemented if you do have a child and family that you are working with. Make sure that if you are working with a child and family that you include their name and age, and it could be a fictitious name, that's fine. And if you are working with a family, a child and family, you would want to include some demographic information about that family. So if you're not working with a child and family, you would just simply tell me, based on what information you have gathered from the course, what kind of supports and resources would you use with the family? And you want to address the following areas. So here's these areas that we kind of learned a little bit about each time. Code switching, book use, understanding the use of print, oral and written vocabulary, phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, and early writing. Then you're going to have to come up with some activities that you would use to increase the child's language abilities in the home and in the classroom, and just talk about that plan. So you can write it up as a lesson plan or you can write it up as a general plan, but I would like to see some specifics about what you would do. I don't want to see generalities. It has to be pretty specific so that I would be able to see what kind of ideas you have come up with. And then what kind of things would you do during your activities to incorporate what you learned about the child, or what you saw the child do during activities if you had a child. If not, then what kinds of things could you implement based on what you know about young children who are dual language learners? And then after implementing and planning and completing activities, what would your reflection be? What would you do next? So include what you think the child learned or would learn, how you would implement activities differently the next time if you're working with a child, some strategies that you would use, possibly, how you would improve your plan for the child and family, how you would improve the plan for the child and family if you're working with them. Let me see if I can make this go down farther. Nope, it doesn't. And then what you've learned from the course and activities about literacy and language development for dual language learners. And of course, you need to include your bibliography of handouts or other supports that you've used. Okay, so you know, my best hope for everybody was that you would have a child and family to work with. And this is obviously not going to happen for a lot of us. So that's okay. You know, what I want to know is, what do you know? What is in your brain? What have you learned? What kinds of planning could you do? What kind of assessment would you have for the final, for your families? Um, you know, it's kind of a difficult thing when we don't have children to work directly with in early childhood, because that is the foundation for everything that we do. But it's understandable that in this day and age, it's very hard for that to happen. So give me your best. Tell me what you've learned, and do it in a way that would help me to understand how you would plan for a child and family who's a dual language learner in your classroom. You know, from the day that they enter the program until you pass them on to someone else, what kinds of things will you do? What kind of feedback will you need to have from your activities? And then what are your plans after that? All right. I know it's kind of vague, but it's okay, because I'm not really looking for a correct answer. I'm looking for how you processed this information during the course, and what you take away. What's your takeaway? What is it that you're going to use moving forward? Okay? If you have any concerns or questions, please be sure to contact me. Thanks.